Did it work? Hey everyone. Hi Scorpio. Okay, so it's raining right now. I love it. Look. Can you see it on the window? Nope. Well, I can, and I can hear it, and it's nice. It's really nice, actually. 1 second, please. All right, Scorpio. All right, I just heard to use the Spiral Tarot for you. This deck is beautiful. I've been talking about ancestors. I usually do, but it's kind of a time for that. But I feel like, in a way, Scorpio sort of, not is in charge of ancestors, but I guess it's kind of like, I heard, how do you feel about your ancestral line? Scorpio. Very interesting card, first card out. The Princess of Wands, or the Page of Wands. Scorpio. Scorpio. Just a minute, please. These cards are sort of new to me, the feeling of them. There's something that I haven't, well, I guess, experienced before in some way. I see that you really, it's so important, your root chakra, Scorpio. It's so important. I see that, since this is pretty specific, okay, but like, it's for whoever it's for. I see someone when they were little just had to put up so many walls to protect themselves from you see that? It won't leave me alone. I didn't do anything to it. I guess I could smack it around, but what's that gonna do? That's not very nice. You know, maybe it's just exploring my face, I guess. Weird. Hold on. It like hasn't left me. Libra's reading showed up. I guess I'll have to do the good old-fashioned way. Not that I'm trying to deter it, really, but that's a little bit annoying, right? Now, whatever it is that you had to protect yourself, whatever it is that the burden that you've carried since you were young, I see that your root chakra is your money. It's where you find your worth. In my opinion anyway, like your safety, okay? It also, of course, is sex, which you rule that chakra too, okay? The root chakra, Scorpio, is in charge of that part of the body, the entry point. Directly above it, and actually kind of close, is Libra too. And then, of course, the guts are Virgo, etc. So there's something about that, because this month I've gone in order, okay? Like I went Virgo, because it's their birthday, or birth month was just 444, and then we'll go all the way, right? Virgo would be Aries, and then we'll go down the line. So Libra is Taurus, Scorpio would be Gemini. So there's something to learn from that. Of course, wherever Gemini is in your chart, your third house, etc. Learn from yourself. It's really coming down now. It's nice. You want to see? There it goes. You can see it now. It's cool. I love the rain. And where I live, it doesn't really rain that much, so it's such a treat. You know, the sun is cool, right? I love the sun. I love this. Look how beautiful this card is with that snake, too. You see that? Or, oh, I just thought it looked like a snake, but that's just her arm. Ace of Pentacles right underneath that, okay? I see that it's important for you to do a little bit of like inner child work, okay? Doesn't have to be anything super heavy, some like hardcore child regression, but I would say that it's important to kind of check in. It's technically still Leo season. They're yellow, so they're the solar plex. That's where the inner child lives, of sorts. Man, this Queen of Pentacles is so intense, too. Look at that face. But she's not saying a thing. It's really silent. Now, in relation to that root chakra, I have to finish. You're coming to a close about it, okay? Or at very least a better See, you don't have any swords here, except a sword card that tells you to rest, okay? Like, maybe a dream journal would be helpful for those of you who already have one, or those of you who don't, to start one, because you rule the subconscious, and most humans work out most of their emotional situations through their subconscious, through their sleep, okay? It's important, and it's important to write them down, because it's not about the way that you remembered it, it's about what connects that dimension to this dimension, and how did you, distinguish the definition of it. I see Aries and Aquarius also. Your 1st and 11th house are important as well. I see whatever that blockage was that I was talking about in your root chakra, wherever it is that you feel defensive because of whatever happened when you were small that scared you, whether you remember it or not. I'm sensing that you do. You don't really forget anything. It's one of actually your downfalls. You know, like you don't want to let go, like you'd go down with the sinking ship just to prove the point, right? Because that would be the most like true thing to do. But sometimes it's about being like, well, fuck it. Like, let's just relax about it, because, right? You gotta relax about it and just chill out, because all human beings have way more than we need. Okay, 7 of Cups means that you have 7 cups to choose from. You're surrounded by choices in this life. What you want to eat, what's in your cupboards, you know, what clothes to wear, where to go every day, right? You could go east, you could go north, you could go south. You can go wherever you want. You can stay in this dimension. You can go to another one if you want to. You know what I mean? So there's something, and this is for everyone during this time, and I may even just start saying it every time before I begin readings, because it's so crucial, is remember to thank, you know, like I was just telling Libra, like, thank Mother Nature every time that it rains. You know what I mean? Don't be pissed that it's raining, that it's not perfect, that you can't do whatever you want without being affected somehow, some way. It's about being like, wow, I'm so grateful for this cold water coming out of the sky. And what's that? Hard emotions in your head. right? Who cares? The sun comes out tomorrow till we have a nuclear winter or whatever, if that's even a real thing. I did some research and I'm pretty sure nuclear weapons don't even exist. Like they say they do. It's another fear tactic, but that's another story. The point is that think the food that is in front of you before you eat it, okay? I know a lot of religions, people don't want to be specifically religious. They think that that's not as spiritually advanced. But it doesn't matter which way you do it. It's about how much you appreciate. You know, the reason why people pray, you know, there are some religions that pray multiple times a day. There are some monks that need to pray 8 hours a day, okay? You know, thank you, God, for my daily bread. You know what bread is? Is mana. And you know what mana is? Is life. Like in the Magic, the Gathering game, they call it mana. Mana, it's your life force. Okay, so think everything before you put it into your body. You don't have any pentacles here besides the Queen of Pentacles. So that shows me that, and I guess it just always feels nice to know that your bills are fine, okay? That you have what it is that you need. In the physical world, I see that you still have a difficulty expressing yourself when you're working through sort of complicated emotional cycles, like actually verbalizing. But that's why not only are we learning from, again, Virgo to Aries, Libra to Taurus, Scorpio to Gemini, but it's also the sign that I recorded in front of you, which was, for your benefit, Libra. So it's kind of like, and like Libra needs to learn from Virgo, right? Libra's supposed to know everything about Virgo and sort of be able to exhibit the positive attributes of that and not fall into the negative of it, right? It's easy for a Libra to see the downfall of Virgo, as it would be, I guess, Scorpio to Libra, but then it's like, well, what can you learn from that sign? You know? Wants me to quit. I will in the future. I just got super extra, what do they call them? Super light cigarettes. No more Marlboro Reds. Newport 100s. You know, coming down the line, right? Deducing the amount of toxins. Scorpio. I also see with that, with the Queen of Pentacles here, maybe some sort of cleanse or detoxification of the body would be helpful, especially being next to the world, okay? I also see it's very important for you to tell God what it is that you want to complete. What do you want to succeed in? But I see specifically, what would you like to complete so that you can receive what it is that you actually desire, that suits who it is that you are. Okay? I almost forgot. So the other day I was thinking about the reading that I did in August for you, and it came to me, like, for those of you who are there, I won't recap the whole story, but where I was talking about experiencing something, meeting a person or coming across a situation where you connect to another timeline, whether you want to call that interdimensionally or just like another life or whatever you connect with. That is because it's one of your strengths, it's one of your powers, it's also one of your weaknesses. So in that, it's very important when you have a lot of feelings, okay, a lot of energy where you're like, whoa, I can feel that, right? I don't know what it is. Obviously, it's just coming from something, right? But I don't know exactly what it is. I know for some of you, you're saying, I know it's astrological. But then I also sense in a way that you feel like, well, that's just who I am. But it sort of pisses you off. Kind of. It depends. There's a kind of irritation that I'm feeling right now. So in that, it's just sort of, I guess the point that I'm getting to is that it's just important for you when you're connecting with, you represent death. A lot of you can sense like spirits or other energies. You understand how it works, just really checking in and coming back into this reality. And then that goes back into appreciation of like, okay, here I am. I have all this food again in my fridge. I have all these things, right? You have like a computer and you have a telephone that like can communicate across the lands, thousands and thousands of miles. You have water that comes out of a faucet. Like all these things are conveniences and they're wonderful. And again, just natural things like the rain or the sunshine or the birds or the clouds, just being like, hi, thanks for being here. Not worrying about like, I heard what it all means, because that's not living in the present moment. You know what I mean? Like trying to pick something apart is not going to have you be in the present moment. In a way, you're not even existing at all in that sense. You're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're not in the present. You're just kind of like doing a mathematical equation like this in the air. It's really not worth your time. I also see here that I told you in August to pay attention to you had the Two of Cups, and it's kind of like, everyone was alone except that Two of Cups. I see here now every single card is a person alone. And I see her in a way with her body language is kind of like she's the one that spilt over all these cups and sort of out of pain or like being sort of irritable, right? Especially with the Emperor above it, right? Which is Mars, which also rules you and was in retrograde. So I hope for the majority of you, you kept that in check, because there's no need to throw away your friendships because you're not checking in with why it is that you're just cutting someone off in the first place. Like, it's really cool that you're the Scorpion. It's really cool how powerful you are. And I was reading something the other day, and it said something like, Scorpio's the person that burns bridges as they walk, and they're the one that lit the match. Which I think is wild to think about that. Just like someone like there's just flames behind them. It's so intense, like, there's just this blog that my friend sent me about progressed moons and things. But like, I think that's obviously this is just one person's perspective, but I understand what they're talking about is everywhere that you go is such an extreme change. But what did we talk about? When you're changing, gaining without destroying, right? That's the lesson of the Hermit, which gaining without destroying and lesson of the Hermit are both videos, titles for Scorpio that I sense you should go back and watch. It would be important for you. You can search it by that name. Maybe that and just Opal Oracle, and you should be able to find it. I believe both of them were 2018. I see that a lot of you do miss people, that used to make, that were a part of you, Just a minute. I know you feel alone on top of that mountain. Like what it is that you know. But it's your choice to stay up there. You know what I mean? Like, so, okay, you climb the mountain, right? And I think that was in May. You climb the mountain. The next month, you still had the shovel and you're going to throw it away. And then you realized, oh, there's another invisible mountain above me, right? We go from earth to air. But you can infinitely climb. But the thing is once we get to the top of the tree of life, the crown, right, which is ether, above that is, at least in Hermetic astrology or in Hermetic teachings, is called the negative veils. Okay, it's basically would be, I guess you could explain it like the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension are all kind of negative. Once you get into 7, which I guess would be Libra, and the ultimate, which is sort of the end number, according to some people, then maybe it gets into something else, but I don't think that we go past that. But that's not the point. It's like you don't have to stay up there. You can come back down into the third dimension and just connect with people, you know? And I see that that's important for you to do. I see that that's so important for you to do. I also see anything with, for those of you with Aquarius in your chart, I also see that you can close out some sort of astrological cycle and or you are, and it's important for you to understand and appreciate the lessons that you're learning emotionally about that, okay? And when you are emotionally drained or you're feeling emotionally just kind of pulled in a way, overwhelmed, then you need to rest, okay? Because if you don't, I see that the 7 turns into the 5, okay? And what's in between there but the 2, so you know, if you have feet of fire, that's what I heard, and I saw you walking with your feet like aflame. You have to remember and be careful where it is that you tread, right? Because you don't want to burn anything that's unnecessary because it's something that comes from your inner child, right? Your inner child that your adult self is still very much protecting. But the thing is you don't need to. There's nothing to be afraid of. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, you can still have integrity and not be so serious. You know? And also, your opposite sign is so important to learn from, Taurus. You know? Whatever the signs don't like about the other sign, well then that's a reflection of you. End of story. You know what I mean? If you take a minute and reel back a little bit, usually you can tell pretty easily that that's the case. You know, but the cool thing is also all the parts that are possible, that are positive, to what that sign can entail and that house can entail, well then you can represent those things just as easily, right? It's all up to you. Right? You can view Earth as in money and value, self-worth, right? As a positive thing. Or not. I see that if you want more money, you should well, I heard, why is it that you want what you want? And why is it, what's the question? What do you want that you already have? What do you want that you already have, Scorpio? And what is it that you have that is stopping you from getting what you want? Right? What is it that's blocking the karmic cycle from finishing? Because it's only you. It's not necessary. Sure, astrologically, things can be in the way, right? Like maybe we can't rush something. You know, so that something's in retrograde or whatever, you know, certain Saturn lessons. But after about the age of 35, we get to choose each and every moment of our day, no matter what's happening, definitely. No matter what's happening, it's our choice. Okay? It's our choice. It's our choice. You can have 6 of Cups, or you can have 10 of Swords and 5 of Wands. You know? What do we want? You know, you rule death. If you died right now, would you be happy? Would you really want to say the things that you just said? What does the warrior say in Carlo Castaneda's Journey to Ixtlan? It says, you're the man, and then you're the hunter, and then you're the warrior, right? And when you finally get to the warrior position, well, the warrior's always aware and asking himself, if these were my last moments, is this what I would want to say? Is this what I would want to do? Is this how I'd want to feel, or what I'd want to be thinking about? It's that easy. In that sense, if the highest functioning Scorpio would never be depressed, it would be absolutely in utter control of their emotions, right? Not in an unnatural way, just like letting it flow, but understanding that if things come that are, you know, thoughts that come too fast or something, well, then you just stay in control of your own energy, right? Because it really breaks down to, again, if you weren't here in 5 minutes and 5 seconds, well, is this how I'd want to behave? Is this what I'd want to think? Is this what I'd want to say? You know? That's why my great-grandmother Molly was like, don't ever go to bed angry. Which is interesting now that I think about that as an adult, and I'd always heard that as a kid. Just as a side note, I guess we can learn from one another. That actually means that she probably used to get into a lot of fights with my grandfather. She had 12 kids, you know? So maybe that's how she learned that lesson. Or how she learned to get over things that bothered her. Right? So that she could have a good night's sleep. Because she got things to do tomorrow. You got 12 kids. Even if you don't. So we're going to pick from The White Goddess by Robert Graves. Oh, love this book. It's about trees and poetry. It's pretty heavy, but let's see. Scorpio. I opened up to a word that said sexual maniacs. What the fuck? Hold on. Let's back up a little. Oh, this is a really long sentence. Okay. This is a heavy book to pick for these readings, but oh, okay. So it said the story of Giganticomachia, the fight, which is the fight of the Olympian gods with the giants, probably refers to a similar but much later occasion, when the Greeks found it necessary to subdue the warlike Magnesians in their fastenings of Pelion and Osa, apparently because of the trouble caused by their exogamic practices. God, this guy's lexicon is fascinating. Can you see that word? Exogamic. I think that's how you'd say it. I don't know that word. Caused by their exogamic practices, which conflicted with the Olympian patriarchal theory and gave them an undeserved reputation as sexual maniacs. Interesting. It also records Hercules' charm against the nightmare. Huh. So I guess it's sort of like, you know, I feel like most Scorpios feel like a lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions about who you are, but you have to remember that that happens to every sign. Now your sign is a little bit heavier of sorts, but that's just part of your karma. You know, and if you don't believe in karma, well, define it as you may. Because, you know, maybe that's sort of you having like a, well, fuck it attitude, and sort of going back to like what I was saying about kind of taking it easy. You know? You don't have to go run and hide on the top of the mountain. You can come back down and interact with the world whenever you want. Remember, this whole technological Neptune and Pisces, Uranus, you know, age of Aquarius, it's all in the air, you know? It's really watery and non-tangible, you know? So how that's Taurus, your opposite. Like, you have to figure out how to take that opposite and learn from it about stability. Okay? I heard it's not about what annoys you, it's about what you love about it. And then again, being able to harness those abilities appropriately so that you can get what it is that you want and gain without destroying. Okay? Cool. All right. I will talk to you later. Rain stopped, so time to go. Peace.